Well, India has a reason to smile, and that's because we've done very, very well at the Olympics. But I think this also raises a larger question as our champions are coming back home and there's going to be a grand ceremony which is planned for them. The Prime Minister is going to be meeting them on 15th of August. For a cricket obsessed nation like ours, is it time for our corporates and our sponsors to look at other sports which have where we've been delivering? In fact, joining me now is Mr. Shishir Hatangari. He's a sports enthusiast. Everyone knows him. And we've also got Manisha Malhotra, who we know as someone who's been really pushing this whole Olympic scene. Thank you so much for joining me. Manisha, I have to come to you first because I was going through your social media timelines, your tweets, and you were also making this point, as many others have been making, that our sponsors need to understand that these are our champions. I mean, why is it that we're always obsessed with cricket, and why is it so difficult? I know things are changing, but why is it so difficult for these other sports to actually get sponsors?
Well, I mean, it's a whole variety of reasons. I think that cricket is a platform that is an established platform. It's a no risk platform. It's a no brainer right now for a corporate. They know that they'll pay a little bit more than market value, whatever the market would be, and they would still get that money back just because cricket does command that attention, and that's really okay. I think that there are many cricket obsessed nations in the Olympic platform, and you see them. I mean, whether it's Australia, Great Britain. New Zealand. So it's now it's sport. Yes, that's the common thread. But the Olympic space is completely different than what cricket would entail. The Olympics comes once every 4 years. There's probably a cricket match somewhere in the world happening all the time. So I think that it's important that even the lesser events are highlighted. I think it's also important that there is a platform for our less known, at least to the layman, events, or so much, or different Olympic sports should get a little bit more airtime. They should get a little bit more exposure, and that is the onus both on the government and their federations to market their sport in a better way. They need to kind of put out packages. India is such a content hungry country at the moment, and at least from a sports perspective, they should exploit that.
Absolutely. Shishir, I know when Neeraj Chopra, for example, when he's going to come down and land in a country, chances are that he's going to get a lot of sponsored deals. There'll be advertisers who are going to be chasing him, but perhaps only for now. I mean, the point which Manisha is raising is that how many people even recognize these people unless they don't win medals? And we're talking about, say, a women's hockey team. Do you think, and don't you think, that this is something which really needs to start changing, and not just the government definitely, yes, but maybe the corporate sector, the sponsors, all of them have to start looking at them differently?
Pallavi, I think they will start. And Neeraj has been, if you look back at cricket, it all started in 1983 with us winning the so-called World Cup then. And, broadcasting came in, television came in, money started pouring in, sponsorship started happening. I remember very clearly in 83, every player of the team was wearing a different shirt with a different brand. It wasn't even an India color. It was one was wearing a sponsor, the one who sponsored his bats, the other was
Yes.
wearing something from a Kachins, a tailor in Bombay who gave them shirts. So it all starts changing when you start becoming champions. And Neeraj Chopra has shown us that if you're going to be a champion of a Greek sport, which was what in started in 700 odd BC, and it's an Indian gold now. It could be the start of conglomerates and corporates realizing that this is where we need to push our champions. And this is probably the torchbearer. He's the Pied Piper now, and I'm sure. Let's be honest that cricket has different content in terms of visibility. It's a long game. There are sponsorship opportunities, branding opportunities. But now you will find that television broadcasters will also fine tune the way they project a sport where we are aspiring winners, and that will bring in sponsors, that will bring in corporates to support, and it's not about supporting them after they win, it's about supporting them in the journey to win.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is so important, and I think realization will happen very soon. I can see that change. corporates are talking now about, supporting, the Olympic Gold Quest or any other organization that supports, these Olympic players and these people who bring in gold and bring in glory for our country. And believe me, it could happen in a matter of a month. You see companies coming forward, not as a CSR, but OSR, an Olympic, sort of a movement towards supporting the prospective champions.
Okay, I certainly hope so. Manisha, I know you all have been someone who's been really pushing for this, and you're right. I mean, Olympics comes once in 4 years, and and here's the thing. I mean, cricket matches are much more frequent. Therefore, they grab those eyeballs. A javelin match next time round, I even wonder if anyone is even going to cover perhaps the next match of Neeraj Chopra. But for you, the journey to put the spotlight on other sports, so to say, has it been difficult? Do you think it's changing now?
Well, I mean, absolutely, it's been an uphill task, but the change has been night and day from when I first came in 2006 to where we are today. So there is a lot more corporate attention that is being given to the Olympic sports. There is a lot more people who would like to get involved. But I think now the real onus is on the federations and on the government to package it in a way where you want other people to come in and you want to create a platform to highlight an above board, so to say, package for the corporate world. And the KRA for a corporate sponsor is completely different than what the KRA would be for the Indian government who's funding that sport. It has been very, very difficult right now, and it's important that it be embraced in a way, in a very professional manner. I think that the future of sport is in the professionalism of it and how it's run worldwide. Every big nation does embrace the corporates coming in and does give them that their moment in glory, or their moment, or highlighted at least in their journey. Right now in India, it's still at the stage where the corporates are the outsiders and they're invading upon a space that is probably reserved just for them, for the federations, and that's not really how it's looked at. It should be looked at, and that's not really how any sport in the country is going to grow.
Okay. Shishir, I know you're going to hate me saying this most probably, but I think the cricketers have got a pretty good deal. And it's unfortunate also when I suggest this, but I guess that's the way it is, and why not if it's going to really help? Do you think this is a time the cricketers can say, okay, fine, we've had a moment of glory. Now we are going to have this consolidated, maybe we're going to get together and ensure that it is these other sports who actually now get their moment of glory and they get a good deal in the next years to come. I mean, maybe they can become the sponsor for these athletes of ours.
I think that could happen, but the onus is on federations, like Manisha said. It's about the federations being the torchbearers. They need to sort of be a little more marketing savvy in a sense, to be able to highlight the achievements of the work that they have done, and to be able to allow sponsors to pour in the money in, as I said, in the journey of a young Olympian. It's not only about when they become champions. You have to build stars, not build on stars. The moment you start building stars, what happens is you become a partner in that process. Otherwise, what happens is everybody likes to build on stars, whether it's a cricketer X, Y, Z. Once he's achieved something, you'll have X, Y, Z brands riding piggyback on him. And, for one tweet or one Instagram post, they get crores of rupees. But
Oh, they
I
do?
think the most satisfying part is when you're a partner in the part of the journey to him becoming a champion. And that, to me, cricketers will always support champions. After all, they're champions for India. So any Olympian or anyone getting a medal today, look at the traction that our hockey players, the women's hockey
Absolutely.
team, Neeraj, everybody, they've become household names. I am googling Neeraj Chopra since he won the championship. Yeah, I mean, this is a cricketer who's seen two generations: one generation of no money and one generation of the IPL. And I'm saying Neeraj Chopra is my new hero. And if I can say that, I can tell you everybody sitting there in England or playing in the IPL would be sticking their head out and saying he belongs to us.
Yes, and I hope we don't have to Google Neeraj Chopra after this or anyone else like him. But Manisha, again, just to come back to the earlier point before I start wrapping up over here, and one quick question to Shishir after that. The What can the government do in this? What is it your suggestion? Because the government has been saying, the sports minister said so, the prime minister himself has promised a better deal for them. Where is it that the government can work in tandem with, say, the federations and the companies, the corporate sector?
Well, I think that where we stand right now is that the government gives XYZ funds depending on the nature of your sport, to each federation, and they are those funds are given with pretty much no questions asked. I mean, you're supposed to file a lot of different forms and see how you talk about the plans that you have and all of that. But at the end of the day, the federations are very content with getting that money because they're not answerable to it. And I think that's where the government needs to start. And this is the highest spend that the Indian government has made for an Olympic Games. And I think that the post-mortem should include every federation being accountable for every rupee that they get. The reason why federations are hesitant with corporate funds is because then they are answerable, and the corporates also have to answer to their boards or whatever. They would like to see their money being used where they said they would use it. So the federation would just, do not even worry about that headache, and where the government is just giving them money, so then we can just deal with them. That is the basic underlying premise right now, and the underlying feeling. The government needs to tighten that. It needs to be where you have to force federations to learn how to become self-sustaining, and you have to force federations to professionalize themselves. And the only way they can do that is if they're forced to raise some of their money themselves. Here they get it on a platter, so it's quite easy for them.
Okay. And Shishir, maybe a start can also be made when you rename and name your stadium or federations or whatever, maybe the institutions, after these athletes, for example, after these sports persons. And that includes cricketers as well. Maybe that's an acknowledgement in a country that sports does matter. It's not a question of only the glam quotient or entertainment. They are very much integral to our education system.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no question about it. Look at these stories which I'm reading about. They're so aspirational for, tier 2, tier 3 city children. And when they see, success stories be coming out of there, there is a glimmer of hope in every aspiring young kid, from a lower middle class background to make it. Now, how does this actually work? If the federations, as Manisha said, take the responsibility of, shortlisting potential winners and saying that, okay, we will cover your basics, your food, your shelter, your education, your training, up to a period where we believe that we can, you could be a Olympian and a winner at that. And that will help them, build a process of creating stars. I've always believed the process of building stars is more important than building on stars. If you can do that, then you've done your bit as a federation, as an organization, to provide them, arms and legs to achieve their dreams. And the onus will be on federations, but I'm sure if they're open to any kind of give and take, I think corporates will come forward, because if you've seen what we've done in these Olympics, we've created some superstars because of the Olympics. And as a cricketer, I feel yes, they deserve much more, but there is a responsibility to be taken by federations, and of course, and I don't mind, cricketers shelling in a lot of their money to these Olympians. It will happen because it's not going to be too much of
I hope so.
It's not going to be.
But or as to use Obama's line, what Olympics has done this time is that audacity of hope. It's given hope to the second and third time. I have a confession to make, Shishir. I don't understand cricket, but I certainly do understand javelin and boxing and wrestling. So there you have an Olympic enthusiast over here. But thank you very much for joining at such a short notice. Great conversation, and I hope things change. I hope and I know things will change. That start has been made. But thank you very much, Manisha, as well as Shishir, for joining me this evening.
Thanks, Pallavi.
Thank you. Thank you, Pallavi.